Your advisor is always here to answer questions for you, Amber.
Next we have the LTC clubs and organizations.
So there is an update in the Council of Clubs. They have removed their vice chair position partially due to inattendance from their vice chair for reasons unknown, as well as the fact that one of the things that they have discovered is that it's kind of more of an extra position. Seems like for the most part, the president or the chair hasn't needed a vice president, so that has been moved off for the time being. I don't know whether or not to mention this, but I am now secretary for the Council of Clubs. We did double check both with Liz and with the council itself on whether or not this would be a conflict of interest. It is a voluntary position, so as far as everyone can see, there is no conflict of interest. And for the most part, other than that, clubs are getting ready for tabling week in April.
Okay, does anyone have anything to add for the LCC update, LCC clubs and organizations? Okay. Next we have the governance council reports.
I can speak for the Student Affairs Council. They are coming to the end of some of the projects they've been working on, including pushing through My Name has been one of the things that they've been doing. So this Friday, tomorrow, is sort of a workshopping session, and I will have more reports to you guys about the next sort of projects that the Student Activity Council is working on next. Student Affairs, I'm sorry. Yes. There's too many SAFs and SACs.
Executive officer reports.
I'll just give a very brief one, just because as we are winding into finals week and looking at, all of the things that we need to be doing, not only for our positions, but also for our school, I wish to remind everybody involved that everyone is a student first. If you, there are academic progress standards that allow you to maintain your seat in this position, but if you don't meet those standards, you'll of course be no longer eligible for those spaces. So I want to remind everyone, I understand that we're getting into finals and that we need to look at what's going to be happening, but absolutely focus on your schoolwork. Secondary note is that there is going to be a finals fuel station. So we will be providing food and outreach opportunities for senators especially, to engage with the students and make sure that people have food, snacks, things like that for the time that they're studying for the finals and or after finals. So the sign up will be available
Today or tomorrow.
Which will allow all of the Senate, all the staff, and other associated groups, if there are volunteers that would like to take some of those times, to be able to hand out food and sort of help take care of our students during this time that is really stressful for everyone. So, thank you.
So, as far as our academic standards, we're supposed to maintain a 2.0, correct?
And 67% completion rate, so.
Okay, well, just to let everybody know,
And 6 credits.
our election page is incorrect again,
Oh, Lord.
so you may want to review that.
That's, I haven't looked at it, but to be elected, you have to be at 2.5.
And it says, and maintain a 2.5 during your term of service. It's incorrect.
Next we have senator reports.
It's week 9 and everybody can even see it. Teachers are sick, students are getting sick. It's definitely kind of a rough time for finals and those who have got open show, which if anybody's unfamiliar with open show, that is the dance programs. Hey, this is what we've been working on. Outside of that, Yeah, it's week 9. People are feeling it this term.
Any more center reports? Staff reports? Community updates?
The governing documents committee is starting to meet again on Friday tomorrow at 4:30 PM in the city government office. We will be discussing next term as schedules change, what new meeting times would be fitting for everybody's schedules. And there is a first draft editor rewrite for the bylaws up in the governing documents committee bylaws work folder on the shared student government drive. Anybody wants to review it?
And do you have anything to
I really do. I am very excited this week to welcome Shauna to our staff, who's of course been working for us the entirety of this term. So now he is officially a staff member. Welcome. We also have hired a new MPA, a multicultural programs advocate, which is a position that's been vacant for a little bit. So we're really excited to get it up and running. I'm super amped to get started on the project of Union of Unions and see staff make progress on that. So welcome to our two new staff members. Kami is the name of our MPA, who regretfully could not be here today. They had work, but they said to say hi to all of the senators on their behalf. So if you see Kami, they are our new MPA, and say hi.
Next we have the staff speaker.
Mm.
Did I have a name tag? I thought I saw it.
You did. Should be
Fancy nuts.
Well, hello, everybody. Oh. Hello, everybody. My name is Caleb Peterson, for those who don't know me. My pronouns are he, him. I am your resource director. So I work with the clothing stash, the food pantry, and the snack shack. Essentially, I just work with organization and communication, smooth operations. And last year, I actually was a senator. Today, I've come to just voice some of my concerns with the executive position. I feel that there is vulnerability of my and my fellow staff members' position. I have concerns about the executive's private meetings and decisions that affect staff members' positions. Recently, in meeting with myself and other staff, we were informed that staff can be fired for any reason at any time without notice, which is true, which is confirmed. I was frightened by this. I, like many of the staff, rely on my monthly income from this position to pay for rent and food. Losing this position would be detrimental to me. Senators have an impeachment process as laid out in sections 8.5.1 through 8.5.5 of the Constitution to assure that their removal is heavily reviewed, that is unbiased, and that there are factual reasons behind the decision concluded in a democratic fashion. Yet, as a staff member, we are at the will to be fired for any reason at any time without notice. This means that if I am told to do something that is outside my purview of my position and I choose to disregard this request for obvious reasons, I am at risk for being fired. Staff members are left out of conversations about how the executive decisions will affect our jobs. It is highly disconcerting. Recently, a staff member was fired on the spot in a public space without notice or warning. They did nothing wrong. The executives just fired the staff member at a convenient time for the executive's agenda. The staff member could have continued on their position to work on new projects until their position would be handed over, so that they would have more time to look for another position. Excuse me. Look for another position. But instead, this way they have been given a notice of their position ending, and they could have time to find a new source of income and have a safe life transition. But the executives decided that it would be too difficult for them to hand the position over to someone else and train them to take over mid-project. So they opted to fire the staff member without warning or notice. To me, it appears that there was no attempt to to protect the staff member's position. The executive team came to the consensus that it would be easier for the executives to fire and replace a staff member without warning, rather than to provide the staff member with enough time to find a new job and not become financially strained. I fear that the executive team and the of staff's political priorities of how they think the student government should function and be put and excuse me. I fear that the executive team and the of staff's political priorities of how they think the student government should function has been put in front of the well-being of those who work under them. Meanwhile, the people who are affected by these decisions are left out of the conversation. Senators, please ask questions about why and how the executives came to decisions like this. I know that I'm not alone in feeling left out of conversations and not understanding how the executives came to decisions. And I am encouraging senators to request more transparency from the executive team so that they don't come to detrimental decisions without first conferring with the rest of the student government. Thank you.
So that is very concerning. I would like to make a motion to put in process or put in our bylaws a process for a staff member who is going to be let go of to appeal this to the Senate. Can I get some of my time, Caleb?
So I have spoken with people and my understanding is that there cannot be a process and that staff members' positions cannot be protected by the Senate. So instead, I'm requesting that the Senate ask questions and ask for more transparency for why people are replaced and why people are fired, because this affects us, this affects our lives. And I don't think any of the staff members saw this coming. We're not included in any of these conversations. And all of a sudden there was an overhaul of positions that affected some members' source of income.
Brian, could you possibly tell me why that isn't able to be in place, or why, is it just because we're at will?
No, it's because the Senate has no, per your constitution, has no authority over staff.
Or other
The only role that the Senate plays in the staff is to vote on the funding for positions. That you're gonna provide the funding. But then it's up to the president, and the chief of staff to hire and fire.
This way.
So can we change the constitution?
I have a constitutional expert right here that I just asked.
Yeah.
And this year's constitution hasn't been voted in with this freeze of elections. So with that being said, we can change the constitution. Could we make it to where if a staff member is going to be let go of, this is completely the executive team's decision, but maybe they can finish the term they're in as to not, is that not?
I would remind the senators, especially looking directly at the courses of action that were taken. I won't speak in a public meeting space about the exact specifics that occurred with a staff member if I have made termination, things like that. I feel as that is a violation of not only ethics, but also human resources to the law. What I will say directly towards these, towards this is that I won't engage in pageantry about it here. However, we have a committee that is directly looking at how the bylaws are, how the Constitution is, and we have been asking for more engagement. So I would encourage all people, staff, Senate, and anybody within the student government to take part in that discussion and to have some examinations of those things.
Yes.
So I, as a staff member, was not informed of governance council by anyone. And then when I found out, I said it's not a convenient time for me, and there's been no conversation about alternative times. And I have made offers to be there virtually over FaceTime, and those offers were turned down.
Yes, Mike.
A question on Caleb. What do you think could be done better in this process?
What I think could be done better is that there's more communication between the Senate and the executives on why decisions like this are made, because I don't think any of us are clear about why this situation of events played out or why there was this staff overhaul. Certainly none of the staff were included in this conversation when we're the ones who are directly affected by decisions like this. I'm not correctly naming.
Are any of the senators here interested in being on the governing documents?
I did not.
I've actually already been approached by Shauna about attending, so
It's
I will be
unfair
attending.
because lose someone's position. Doesn't matter.
Does anyone have any questions to ask for Caleb, or wants to ask any of the, say, yes, Emma?
So what position are we talking about? The position that was removed?
That's, I'm gonna choose not to name drop anyone.
I'm just asking for the position, not the name of the person.
It would give the name of the person.
Again, I'm just gonna choose not to answer that.
Yes.
I just had one last question. So we said the constitution could be changed to try to help with this, but it doesn't sound like there's anything that could really be changed that would help.
Right off my
Is
top,
that-
Shauna.
Yes, Sean.
So the constitution can be changed, you can decide how the student government runs the different branches in any way you see fit, but I do want to caution that the overlap between the legislative branch, the Senate, and the executive branch are intentionally kept separate for very specific and, in my opinion, good reasons, but if you disagree with them, it is within your ability to make that change. The timeline would be extremely tight, but it is still possible because the election has not yet happened.
Well, I would like to propose a process that could be discussed in the governing documents committee. There would be a process where if a staff member is fired, they have the right to appeal if they choose to the Senate, and the Senate can vote whether that's not.
That's what I
allowed
tried to
at all.
make a motion for originally, because I thought that would be a good result. but
I thought that we were saying we could include that in the Constitution.
If it's in the Constitution.
So, again, in the Constitution,
Okay, so we can include that in the constitution if we wanted to. It's just set up right now, we can't.
Correct. I would, as your advisor, I would advise against it, but then it's your constitution. I will say, and if I may disclose, Caleb and I have met about this process, and I will say as your advisor, you, the complaint or the issue that he raises, you have a pathway to address that, and that is to come to your advisor. And Caleb and I just met today, so, and then your advisor can talk about process with the executive team.
Yes, sir.
Why would you advise against it?
Because of what Shauna just said, that there is a reason why there's a firewall between the Senate and the executive team.
Yes.
So why is it when I made that motion that I was going to try to, was it just that I didn't say to add it to the constitution?
Yeah.
Why was I just told like it just can't happen?
can I answer? So.
You have to
I'll
recognize-
give my time.
So the Senate can amend the bylaws at any time, but the Constitution can't be passed by, or you can't add something to the Constitution through a motion.
Yes.
But we're in the process of still working on that technically, and it hasn't been voted in yet.
So again, it would have to go to governing documents committee and be worked in there, or when the Constitution comes to the Senate, you could say, we want this added before we're gonna pass it.
It's already come.
So
Yes, Dylan.
the other thing I think for us to consider is even if we do add this to the Constitution, as far as I recall, it's not going to be allowed to go into effect until fall, the new school year. So I do think it would behoove each of us as Senate members to look into the process, to ask more questions, and to request more transparency. However, I would also suggest that we check in with our governing documents, our advisor, potentially our president, vice president, to figure out what we need to do to potentially amend the Constitution, if there is going to be an amendment.
Can I ask a question for Sean? Can you tell us more about why there is a firewall between the Senate and the staff?
Yeah, the easy answer is separation of powers. They're the two different branches of government are meant to keep each other in check. If the Senate starts to run wild with doing stuff, then the executive branch is supposed to have some ability to get stuff done without their input. Same way the executive team can be running wild, the Senate could vote to keep them in check by making changes to the bylaws, impeaching executives if that becomes necessary. These are the ways that the two branches keep each other in check, so you don't have one group just running wild with power and doing everything they want to do without another group saying, no, that's not right. That's the short answer.
I want to give my time to go.
And my problem with that process is that the executives in the Senate are giving power while staff are left at the will. And I think that we should be able to appeal our cases for being fired if we think it's unreasonable.
Yes. I would have to agree. I think there is that overlap where we have to all be held accountable to each other, but I don't think this would really conflict there. It would just be a second, look at something from the Senate, and I think that it would make people feel more secure. It sounds like, Caleb doesn't even feel secure in his position. Is that what kind of a climate are we gonna give to new people coming in that just think they're just gonna be dropped for any reason? I understand Della said this isn't gonna take effect until next year, but that's kind of the process of putting things like this into the Constitution that students want put in now so that it's available for next year instead of having to go back and amend it. So if we were gonna do it, it may make sense.
Anything against it, I'm saying, so I'm not saying anything against it, I'm barely saying like, if, as we go forward with this, understand that it is something that is going to take some time, it is not an immediate figure.
So if I may suggest, before you decide to put it into the Constitution, I think we need to talk about this at a work session rather than at Senate. And I think you need to allow me to work with the executive branch to come up with a personnel policy, if you will. So if someone is terminated and it's not for just cause, then perhaps they have a right of appeal, or maybe they can't be terminated until they have gotten 2 written notices of whatever. I mean, I'm just talking off the top of my head here.
Can we have the staff member that been fired to get back to their position because they, as I heard from Caleb, no one informed them about that, and as I believe that's illegal in the US.
No.
At will.
At Oregon, yeah, so now what's,
You can be fired for any reason at any time without notice.
you can even be
That's
evicted
true.
from your own
That's
home.
true.
I offer my time to Shauna.
Yes, sir.
So there's an assumption being made that I'm personally very comfortable with it existing, but accurately, it's not correct. The Constitution can be rewritten in a way so that it activates as soon as it is voted into play. Totally unethical in my opinion, bad idea, but it is a possibility.
William.
Yeah, I just want to say something. Like, I know it's not illegal, but thing that's not illegal doesn't mean that's like the right thing to do. And I think that's not right in my opinion. And I just want to ask Caleb, like, what do you think could have been done differently
About,
the situation?
I think that this person could have been given time because I've been told that there was availability for them to have time to leave their position, and that time was not given because it was deemed too complicated to train someone mid-project. So I think they could have been given time.
Yes, Emma.
If we are not going to be clear about what's really going on, I suggest that we postpone it to the work session because I'm asking questions in order to be able to address the issue. And so far, I've been hearing the story from one side. I would like to hear the story from our executive team. What happened?
As a point of information, I will just say that the way that Caleb is explaining it isn't exactly what happened, but I would feel very uncomfortable going into details about somebody's HR concerns
Okay.
here in this space.
So if let's say the person who got fired willing to talk about it, would you be comfortable with it at the work session?
Private.
Can't stop anybody's right to free speech.
Okay, so I don't think that the issue here is this one staff member that got let go of. The issue is the policies with the lack of policies and procedures to make this not happen in the future. So I think that we need to kind of shy away from this individual incident and think more long-term of what we can do to resolve this in the future. So with that being said, I really think that we should move forward and talk about this at a work session. I think that would make sense. Maybe have a committee together.
Yeah, I agree with him, but it should be one whole thing, but we should not forget this staff here and what happened to them. And I think we should move on.
Just to, as that is what is just said, I have decided that's the first item onto the agenda for the work session this next Tuesday.
Am I allowed to be addressed? Thank you. Appreciate it. I do want to point out that there's this approach that we're talking about changing constitutions and changing bylaws, but there's nothing that says that the staff, that the executive team can't put in place a policy immediately about how staff are hired, how staff are released from positions, what staff expectations are. Those can all happen immediately at the discretion of the executive state team. So that's an option, and I'm happy to look into that. In fact, it's something that we are looking into.
So if the Senate didn't agree with that, would there be a procedure in place to
Didn't agree with.
whatever you're saying the executive team would put together to alleviate whatever we tried to accomplish? Is there a process in place to remove that if necessary?
I think we've already mentioned the answer to what you're asking. Like, yes, constitutional and bylaws absolutely can be changed. But my point, again, really back to what Shauna says, is that this would really gum up the process of staff actually working, and would allow really Senate to rule over staff so that there aren't balances, so that really it's not the student government, it's really the student senators, and the student senators having 100% of the power.
I don't understand how that's 100% if we're just doing a double check on something that happened.
Yeah.
That's all. I don't see how that's 100% of all the power. If we're just a second means for someone to appeal something they feel is not right, because without that in place, who's deeming this to not be the right kind of decision? You know, if they have no process to appeal it and tell their side of the story, how do we know?
Yesterday, give my time to kill.
I've said what I have to say, and I think that we should all think about this and continue this conversation in the work session. And I'm ready to move on, so we don't keep going in circles.
Okay. So next we have the Senate new business, the Benefita interview. Data? Interview, yeah. Sit down first. So can you start with your name, your pronouns, and can you start by introduction why you want to be a center?
Thank you very much. My name is Layla, and my pronouns is she or her. I came here to present my candidate to be a senator to help every student like me. Not only for international students, which obviously it's what bring me here, but everybody. Because since I came here, all the information I got, it was a lot of things. It wasn't actually what happened. So I wanted to help people with information and be here to hear them. Because I see a lot of students that they're in groups, like because if they are only one country, they're all together, they have certain of information, then the other group doesn't know. I want to be able to, when people know, oh, she's the senator and she has the information that I have the experience to pass them. like just not to to be able to pass a qualified information and be equal to everybody. Not just, oh, because I'm an African, I want to do this just because of the Africans. Not because I'm a Muslim, I'm gonna look just for the Muslim. Just because I'm the LGBT to be just for the LGBT. I want to be here for everybody. And when I came here, I don't know if it is because in my country we have all of the type of people, all of the type of religion. We are open to hear everybody. And when I came here, I saw that there are groups like there and focus on their own problems. And I was with all of the problems. I want to be able to give the information. I remember once, I think was here, they were making some of questions to all of the students, and they're for the veterans, for the students with problems, LGBT, with all of the type of students, but international students wasn't there. So I asked to the person that was given the paper, so where's the international students? I felt that we were forgotten. And after that, all of the students were, yeah, actually, yeah, people don't talk about it. And mm, personally, myself, I find myself with a lot of problems here. Even in a simple information could help me a lot. And I don't have a person to go there. I need to be asking, going. But a lot of students, they don't look. They just think that, oh, at least I'm here now in the United States studying, and that's the major opportunity that I got. But you can do much more. That's why I'm here. I wanted to be able to know more for myself and for the other students, the possibilities that can be made for the international to any kind, any religion, and even for the nationals as well. Because I found some nationals with some questions as well.
Discussion, questions from the Senate?
So my understanding is that you were a student last term, you were
Yes.
taking a break this term. So are you looking to join Senate if there is a potential open seat next term? Is that the understanding?
Yes, for spring term. I'm already here for a year, and I apply in fall. If I'm not wrong. Yes. Unfortunately, because I took a break in winter because of financial issues, I found that they all informed me that I couldn't be a senator at the time because I was taking a break. So if it is a way to, and a possibility to be a senator in spring, I'm here, and if everybody is happy to have me in the group, I'm happy to help as well.
Alder.
Can I ask you a question? Eva?
Yes.
So I know we did not go to the vote right now, but we have other students that going to be interviewed right now. Can we like count? Okay, I didn't think. Okay.
What do you had a question?
Yeah. So what will be, what is the problem affecting the national community that you would like to work on as a senator?
I wanted to work especially on scholarship, which we didn't have any. When I was coming here, people told me I was in contact with the staff of LCC, and they were, "Don't worry, you have scholarship here." I told them I couldn't pay that amount. It's like almost $5,000 per term. This is too much. There's no way I would pay this in any other countries. But I came here not just, oh no, I have the money to pay. Of course, it's an honor to study in United States. But when I was coming, I talked with them. I was like, I can't pay that amount if I don't have a scholarship. I sent it all the documents. If they told me like in the beginning, you know what, for international students, actually we have scholarship, but it's really competitive. We're not sure you would win it. I would look for other options because I can just give my family all this amount of money to pay to my education. I look by myself here looking for a job, looking for other options. I study a lot and the education here is completely different to my country. So I needed to adapt everything here, not only the language, which is different. Um, so more information for international students to tell them you have this situation, you can have this, and this is the difficulties. So the students know what they can find here. I came here all prepared. I had a list with everything they told me. I printed out all the emails they told the things we talked because I had a plan when I was going to come here, I would have a scholarship. Because they're like, oh, actually we closed the one for international students and but don't worry, we have a lot of them every single term. You will have one. And I didn't. I'm already a year here, and I'm only here because I work. I I run to find a job, which was really difficult to find information for the way I could work here. I didn't know about social security number. I didn't know anything. I needed to run by myself, like asking, can I know something? Because if I just be quiet, nobody could help me. Even if I go to the international staff, there one people give me the information, another people give me the information. It's not easy. So it was really complicated like this.
Any more questions? Sarah,
Being a Wayne student, like obviously not that level of issue, but a lot of students have that same issue where different people are telling them different things. How do you plan on fixing that?
Fixing. First of all, giving the information is basic. And second of all, trying with all the school, for example, the scholarship. Having more, I'm not saying to give all of the students scholarship because the school will close the door. But if the student they're working, they have high GPA, give them the opportunity. I myself, I went to the international office and they give me a special help they give to international students. But until I go to the president there, I will never know. I needed to knock to the like I need to talk with the president. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to my country. I can't. And she's like, no, we can help you. We have a special help we give to students that have good GPA. I didn't know about it. Give more information. Give doors like windows to students. Scholarship is major for international students. And if you have work for international students, give them. I went to different departments that I didn't even needed to go to look a job. And the end they were like, no, you just need social security number. I was like, what is that? You know, information. Information is basic. If the student is really wanted to help and be in the school, if they have the information there, they can have a solution.
so when you came over here and started at Lane as an international student, was there any kind of orientation for you that gave benefits and information on scholarships and where you would find your resources and things like that on campus?
The first day they had the big meeting with all the international students to talk about the company of insurance and those basic information. Not all the students here they are looking for a job. They come with a scholarship in their country or their parents pay the school. So I understand there in that moment they didn't give all the information. But I didn't have any information if I didn't ask my friends, like the ones that have more time here to working and doing their own stuff. Because when I was asking, they weren't giving me.
So do you feel like if that process was a little bit more in depth and there was was more information and more opportunity for some one-on-one meetings after that, and it got
Yes,
fixed.
which I didn't have it. I needed to go by myself there and ask them. And even though it was difficult to have all the information.
Do you know how often they do that for students coming to Wayne? Is the beginning of the year?
What?
The international student orientation?
We have three.
Any more questions?
Like, unfortunately, what they're bringing up is an issue that does not only affect international students, it is something that affects students at large. It's one of the things that I've come across in a lot of my outreach is there is a problem between being bounced around to various staff members who don't know the information. There's been circumstances even where for even scheduling a club, being bounced around with 3 different faculty members, finally reaching one who then reaches a completely different one. In terms of information for, there's the Olive Bridge Emergency Fund, which not many students know exists. Where to get information for financial assistance. Many students don't even know what a food pantry is. So this is a huge resounding issue that we're kind of facing across campus right now.
I don't know, I feel like that's just a systematic thing, and I think it would be very hard to change. Because I think part of it is because of what we value as a society. We value, competition, the people who seek stuff out are the people who succeed, but there are some people who don't have the time to seek out that stuff, and we should make it more available, but I think that's gonna be very hard for all of us to accomplish.
I just wanted to move things forward and tell you, thank you so much for applying and coming and speaking with us. We had a bunch of questions, I think, because this is an issue that's been ongoing in a lot of areas. I personally appreciate people who want to be active in this, and hopefully we can, if there's a position available next term, I'll see about getting you on. Okay. But I really appreciate your time, and thank you.
William?
Father.
I want to respond to Serenity. I think the problem she's bringing up right now is very serious and it's
Point of
affect-
information.
Thank
You should
you.
direct to the chair.
and now I lost the information. And I think that if we don't do any improvements, that still affect the humans to move to the next level with knowledge. If we don't provide the information, too much information is everything.
Just as the interview is moving on and we're now looking at basic discussion, what I was going to say is, so for the Senate, just as a point of procedure, right? At this time, you only have 1 seat that is open. And so if and or when more candidates come forward for interviews, when you are selecting whether to allow a candidate onto the Senate or to voting in that fashion, you will have to make the determination whether you keep that seat open or not.
So just to clarify, this is a point I wanted to bring up too. If we feel that Layla is very qualified and we want to have her on, and we happen to interview 3, 5, 6 more people before this term is up, we don't have to ratify any of those applicants if we feel that she is more qualified. So just everybody keep that in mind moving forward is what we're trying to.
I just wanted to say that I wasn't saying that we shouldn't fix it, but I think that it's more complicated than just spreading information, because we're already trying to do that.
From my time.
I don't want to do, anyone to do that. Can run the things as it is going, if it is still, or it opens another seat for the next term, I'm just here, I just wanted to tell everybody that I'm here and I'm available to be on the group, but no, don't stop, don't. There are a lot of other people there interested on this seat as well.
Thank you. I just wanted to point out though, that if we feel that someone, even if it's not you, if anyone is more qualified than anyone else that comes up, we don't have to just ratify the first person who is fully qualified is all I'm putting out there. But thank you.
I just wanted to say that I know how hard it is to come up here and have people, have this discussion in front of you. So thank you so much for your courage and for coming to us.
Thank you very much for hearing me.
Yeah, we want to thank Layla for coming here and bringing up this problem because that's what I faced as well before coming to student government. Like nobody helped me. I had no information. Probably during the interview time, I mentioned a little about this as well. That not just international student, but a lot of Lane student doesn't know the system here in Lane. Like some people even ask me, what do you even do in student government? They don't even know the existence of student government. They all know that we are the student body representative of them, and they're just like, okay, sounds cool. So, yeah, I feel like this is a really big issue here. We should be more visible and should let all the students know what we're doing, what's going on in this campus, what even everything, not just student government, but also clubs and staff work and everything, like food pantry. I think, as Stella said, no one knows about, not no one, but not a lot of people know about them. Yeah. So I feel like this is a big issue we should look at. William?
Thank you. Hopefully, we'll be working together next time.
Thank you.
Okay, so now next we have, we're done, yay. So the next agenda items for next meeting. Okay, any suggestions for next items for next meeting?
We are having a meeting on the 12th, but not the 19th, so we are having one next Thursday.
Suggestions, senators? Yes.
If you have anything, email me before Tuesday, and I'll.
Yes, Emma.
Were the minutes approved?
Yes.
Okay. Our next meeting will be 12 March 2020, 4 p.m., building 3, room 216. Here. Before we leave, anyone has anything to say or whatever, anything? No? Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. I am the one that applied for being a student senator, and I just talked to Luis, and my paper is already like
Approved.
approved. Yes, and is that any ways that we can? I don't know.
Yes,
What I was going to say is, so I didn't get notification from Liz. I believe she sent you an email concerning signatures.
And I already got them.
Okay.
And I gave her back, and before coming here, I talked to her and she said it's approved. However, 2 of them is not approved yet.
Would you be okay with us just making sure everything's good and then we do your interview next Thursday? Are you available to be here next Thursday?
Thursday.
Or are you asking to get it done today?
If it's, the way that it's better for you guys. Yes.
Ava, I had a direct question. Are we able to clarify and make sure that they qualified, or should we just, actually, you know what?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to give an interview to this individual, given that we interviewed someone else who wasn't qualified already today. I guess I would like to make a motion to do an interview for this candidate.
I second that.
Okay, so a motion on the table by Amber to have an interview, and it was seconded by Robin. This month. Discussions?
I just think it would make sense to interview her while she's here and available, and then maybe next week, if she's qualified or anyone else is qualified, we could ratify or talk about it during that time. So it makes sense since she came all the way here.
I'm in agreement. I mean, she,
Yes.
okay. Like she's even done the work to check in with Liz so far as to date, and then has been sitting in the meeting pretty much the entire time. So
We'll vote. Amber?
Aye.
Della?
Aye.
William?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
Sorry, Emily.
Yes, hi.
Rin? Serenity? Passes.
dun, dun, dun.
So do you want to start with your name, pronouns, and why you apply to be a senator?
Yeah, sure. My name is Sarah, and my pronouns is she, her, hers, yes. And I applied for being a student senator because being an international student is not an easy thing, and I'm facing a lot of issues in that. And the first of all is scholarship for sure, but I'm not going to talk about scholarship. However, I will talk about the sense of community. Yeah, I've been in a school that, like, I don't know, it's more about like cultures. And I've been in a school that everybody, when you see one person for the first time, next time you just say, at least you say like hi. You don't need even to say more than hi. And I'm trying to fight for being for like people get to interact with each other, get to know other things. Like personally, I have hard time to start a conversation with someone that is not international because I'm just afraid that the person don't want to talk, don't want to even know more things around, and I think that we should like I want to change that feeling because being in a place that you feel welcome and you feel that everybody is sometimes have hard time, of course, you have finals, you're stressed, but being in
You're okay.
okay and okay. So, okay, as I was saying, being a community that make you feel welcome and be present here. And another thing that I want to mention is about safety. I have friends that came here under 18, and I kind of have a concern about that. Being under 18 sometimes can release like people may see them like looking young, and it may be not safe enough walking around or even coming to the school, going back home. So one of my ideas is also get like kind of resources for them to protect themselves, even maybe have some classes like self defense or something like that that may I feel that I'm out of time right
No, you're good.
okay okay yeah so yes and if you guys have any questions please.
Anyone have any questions?
Raise your hand.
So what would be your top three priority as a student senator for this term and next term?
Excuse me, can you repeat that?
What would be your next top three priority that you would like to see all get done this remaining term and next term as a senator?
Okay, is getting more activities going on. And having activities going on, I know that I already have activities going on. The thing is, make people get into the activities, but with the sense of be fully involved. It's not only go and take a look and then come, but have someone there like pushing them, like interact with them, make them feel comfortable with that activity. May is one of the things that we break. Yes, and the other is to get more scholarship as well for international students and also for students, resident students. And the third one is forget the self defense. Self defense. Yes. Questions? Yes, Noah.
So what would be some of your prerogatives on, like, aside from having somebody there to greet and welcome somebody for events, to help them feel welcome in the event itself, to move forward with finding ways to connect the students and opening up the connections between them as individuals? Or even
Can you
as groups.
simplify with simple English?
I was about to.
Yeah.
See,
I didn't follow
Thank
that
y'all
either.
for.
How would you go about creating community connections between students?
Okay, you mean how could be the better way to create connections?
Yes.
Okay. The better way is get people that it's already like outgoing person, get to make interaction. Because I believe with the environment, like having someone doing something, make the others doing the same thing. This is our human being. Yes, and I believe that will help. And also get more, try to let them know more about it, kind of more details or something like, oh, we're gonna have some stuff going on and like specific things. Emmett?
Oh, no.
You raise your hand.
I was just.
Father?
Do you have any leadership experience?
Excuse me?
Do you have any leadership experience?
Yes, I do. I am right now a peer mentor, international peer mentor, and I've been in this position since September last year, almost a year. Yes. Ren.
How long have you been in Lane and how long are you planning to stay here?
I've been in Lane a year and a half, and I may stay for one more year to finish my associate. Oh, yeah, 21. Williams.
You know, this means you're raising your hand.
Okay. Prior to coming to Lane and prior to being involved in the peer mentoring here, have you had any situation in which you were in a position of building community? Like, any prior experience related to building community relationship or something?
Can you repeat again?
Have you had any experience of
Community building.
community building? Like,
Oh,
even in your country, were you involved in like some activities that were really helpful?
yes, I've been in a lot of activities. Been in a back home. I've been in a theater group, and we did a outside theater, like walking around doing theater, and also in here, I've been responsible for dance groups to like engage students, international students, And also I've been organizing parties for international students as well. So yes.
Any more questions? Yeah.
So how would you work to better, representation for international students and student of color at Lane Community College?
How better I work?
How better to represent all students at Lane?
I didn't hear the second word. How
Sorry.
better?
How would you work to make sure that all students here, especially underrepresented students, are better represented in student government?
Okay. I still didn't get your question. How better?
Yes. Can I rephrase?
Yes, please.
How would you represent international students
Okay.
And students of color.
and students of color?
How
Sorry,
I
repeat that
would
part.
represent it. Okay. I you mean more actions stuff?
How can you help them?
Okay, how can I
What
help
do you
them?
think you can do on campus to help them?
Alright,
Because they're a minority group, right?
yes.
How can you help them?
I've been creating, it's a really good question. Yes. And, okay. Hmm. So, as I said, creating activities that engage them. And I believe that that is a thing, right?
Yes.
Can I? So I think the question was like represent, like more like what will you do to make sure that the voice are heard? Will you go? Will you? Yes. I don't want to give you the answer, but that is. Will you be? What kind of activities? What kind of things that will you be doing that will help you represent them or voice the issues, either for international students or for people of color or anybody who is a student who is paying the student activity fees, where we get our funding from.
Okay. I've been out getting them to know who I am and greeting them all the time that I've been like I am the type of person that always like for me everybody that I see it's a person for me so I always say hi so try to get out and get to know people and get them know what is going on actually here.
Any more questions? Yes.
I'm purely curious, what is it that you are pursuing here as your major?
My major is multimedia design. Communication.
Any more questions?
I made a motion to vote for Sarah Pereira to Sarah Batista, right? Bautista?
Yes.
My bad, sorry.
We haven't verified their qualification yet. We're just doing the interview.
So that needs to wait, any ratification of senators needs to wait until next week.
Hold on. He has to rescind his motion.
What?
You have to make another motion to rescind your motion.
You have to teach him that, just so you know.
I rescind my motion. That's what you
I
said.
rescind by motion. And what does that mean next?
See?
It means you withdraw it. Take it back.
Okay, so, anything else before, we adjourn? Does anyone have anything to add or say? Yes or no?
I want to say thank you for coming, and thank you for your interest. I think you're like very qualified candidate, it will be great. Senator, so I'll see you next week.
Okay. Thank you for all being here and for the last time being accepting me to do the interview. Thank you for everybody. And the question was on. Anything else? No? Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, done.
Frank, could you take them, please?